Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar on automation testing, codeless versus scripted. I'm Pushottam and I'm super excited to dive into this topic with you all. We all know that software testing is a crucial part of the development process, right? But have you ever found yourself wondering, like, should I go for codeless automation or stick with scripted one? Which one is better for my team, right? Well, you are in the right place, guys. Today, we are going to break it all down in a way that's simple, fun, and most importantly, useful. Okay, so this is me working with Mindbowser as QA lead. Okay, so we'll start with the agenda. So here's what we'll be covering in this session. We'll see what is automation testing, the basics, and why do we need it. Then we'll deep dive into scripted versus codeless automation. That is, what they are, how they work, and their pros and cons. Then we'll see which approach should you choose based on different scenarios. And then we'll see some real world healthcare use cases for both scripted as well as codeless automation methods. And of course, at the end, we'll wrap up the session with the quiz and question and answer session to clarify any doubts. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the basics first. What is automation testing? So simply put, I would say it's using a tool to execute the test cases without manual effort. Instead of clicking buttons or entering data manually, you write scripts or use a tool to do it for you. So why automation testing is important? So as the word itself indicates, as it is a automation testing, so it speed up the testing, like takes no more repetitive manual testing here. Again, then it improves the accuracy, that is, it eliminates the human errors. It saves time and effort. Like once automated, test can run anytime. Even you can schedule those tests as well nowadays. Also, it supports continuous integration and delivery, as we are in the agile team working. Now, there are two main ways to do automation testing. One is scripted automation, which is basically writing test script using coding languages, or I can say programming languages, right? Like Java, Python, Ruby, like that. And second one, which is uh, being popular nowadays, that is codeless automation. So it is basically using a tool with minimal or no coding required, as there are a number of codeless automation tools available in the market. Okay, so let's break them down further. So what is scripted automation? So think of scripted automation like cooking a meal from a scratch, you know where you control the ingredients, the spices, and the way you cook it. It requires technical expertise, but you can customize it completely to your taste, right? So in simple terms, scripted automation requires coding knowledge. You use programming languages like Python, Java, or JavaScript to write test scripts. Okay. And these scripts mainly interact with the UI, API, or database of your application. Now, the biggest advantage here with the scripted automation, as I said, you can customize and handle the complex test scenarios as well. So, how does it work? The scripted automation, how does it work? So, first, you will write down the test script in a programming language suitable to you. Then, the scripts interact with the app's UI, API, or a database, and it runs within a test framework. Okay. So, these are some of the popular scripted automation tools. That is Selenium, Cypress, APM, JUnit. JUnit is not actually a tool. It's a framework that we use for unit testing and API testing. So these tools gives you the maximum flexibility, but they come with the learning curve. Okay. Now let's look at codeless automation now. So what is codeless then? As we have seen the scripted one, now let's see the codeless one. Okay. Now imagine consider same example of cooking. Now imagine instead of cooking from a scratch, you are using a meal kit delivery service instead of cooking from a scratch. Like for example, if you want to cook idlis or dosa, so nowadays there are ready-made packets available, right? So all you have to do is just purchase those packets, follow the instructions mentioned on the packets, and your delicious idlis or dosas will be ready, right? So you get all the ingredients prepped, and all you have to do is follow the simple instructions, right? So that's exactly what codeless automation is. Here in codeless automation, no coding or very minimal coding is required, as it uses record and playback or drag and drop interfaces in many of the codeless automation tools. It also comes with the AI ability that even understand plain English language to create the test cases that will get executed against your application. So how does it work? When you interact with the application using record and play feature, it basically captures all of your elements, the steps that you have covered, and some tools even use natural language processing, that is NLP, as I said, to convert simple English commands into the test cases. And you can visually create workflows without needing deep technical knowledge, as in the programming knowledge, I can say. So this is the codeless automation, and these are some of the popular codeless automation tools available in the market, like Testing, Catalan Studio, uh, then Marble. And as you can see, one tool offers very much of flexibility when it comes to web app testing, mobile app testing, API testing, performance testing, like that. On the other hand, if we compare it with the scripted automation tools, so it only offers you web testing or either mobile app testing, right? So this codeless automation makes testing fast and accessible to non-technical users. But the question here is it the right choice for every situation, right? Now let's just weigh the pros and cons of both scripted as well as codeless automation. Okay, so first we'll see the pros of codeless automation and then cons. Okay, so as I mentioned, codeless automation, the biggest pro is faster test creation. Like no need to write long scripts. Then the second is it is ideal for non-technical users. Like anyone can create tests without knowing the significant programming knowledge. It also comes with the self-healing AI-driven maintenance that which reduces the flaky test. It also supports multiple test types, as I mentioned, that is UI, API, performance tests under one tool. And the I would say the biggest advantage of codeless is it is great for quick validation and regression testing. Now, as there are pros, there are cons as well, right? So when I talk about cons of codeless automation, so it has limited flexibility. Like many of the tools, they can't handle complex workflows, just like scripted automation tools does. Also, it has vendor dependency. Like if in future, if the vendor who is providing the services of codeless automation tool, they ran into some problems, so ultimately your test will be affected, right? So it has that vendor dependency. It struggles with complex scenarios, and it is not ideal for deep API testing. Now let's see pros and cons of scripted automation. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the biggest pros of scripted automation is it is highly customizable. That gives you the full control over test logic, and it also handles the complex scenarios as well, which is perfect for intricate test cases. And there is no vendor lock-in, as it is open source flexibility. Now with these pros, there are also cons of scripted automation. So it requires coding skill, which is very obvious, and it is not beginner friendly. uh, then The next is it is time consuming to develop the scripts. It takes effort to build from the scratch. Then it is hard to maintain. Like scripts need frequent updates whenever there is a change in your code level. Okay. Now, as we have seen the pros and cons of both of these approaches, now let's see how to choose the right approach for your project. So this is the most important part of this webinar. Okay. So, according to me, I have mentioned a couple of points here, as you can see on the screen. Of course, there are n number of other factors also included, like deadline, the budget, and stuff. But we don't have that much of control over these factors, right? So I always, ask myself, these questions whenever there is a debate going on, whether to go for a scripted automation or a codeless automation. So does my team have coding expertise? Like if yes, I'll go for the scripted automation, of course. If not, codeless will be the best choice. The second question which I ask is, do I need a quick setup and easy test creation? If the answer is yes, I'll go for the codeless. Okay. The next question which I ask is, am I working with complex scenarios like API and security testing, that kind of stuff? If answer is yes, then I'll go for the scripted automation over codeless one. And finally, do I need a solution for non-technical users? Many a times it happens that uh, clients wants to provide support, or they want some or they want to give some input in the testing as well. So codeless is the better choice in that case. So basically, the answer depends on your team, project, and the testing goals. So you can choose either scripted or codeless. So that is completely up to your choice. Okay. Now let's see some of the real-time healthcare use cases with the codeless automation and the scripted automation, right? So possible flows where you can use codeless automation when it comes to the healthcare application. I would say it is when we are automating patient form submission. In that case, you can use the codeless. Also, when it comes to regression testing of different healthcare management portals or softwares, then you can use codeless. When you are validating UI of EHR systems, you can implement the codeless. And last is telemedicine appointment scheduling test. So these are just some of the sample use cases which I have mentioned. Of course, there are a number of other cases as well. Now let's see some scripted automation use cases here. So scripted automation is best for API and backend testing of medical data integration. As I said, if there are API related testing is involved, and you have to take care of security testing as well. In that case, scripted will be the best option. Then performance testing of telehealth platform, security testing for HIPAA compliance, and automation of a complex workflows in a medical imaging software. So each approach has its strength and weaknesses. So I suggest to choose wisely here. Okay. Now, the last part of our webinar is conclusion. So to wrap up, what I can say, codeless automation is fast and easy, but it lacks the flexibility or customization. Whereas the scripted automation is powerful and customizable, but it requires heavy coding expertise, right? So choose based on your project needs and team skills. Okay. So I hope this session gave you a clear picture of which method works best for you. Now let's move on to a fun quiz, as I mentioned earlier, and then I'll take any questions that you have. Okay. So for the quiz, we do have some rules here. So you will have 4 minutes to solve the quiz. Before quiz, you will have to enter your email address on the form which I'm going to share right now, and then the winner will be finalized based on the score and the fastest, to solve the quiz. And top three winners will get a certification from us. Okay. So, yep. So Aditya, could you please help me with the quiz link that you can put in the chat box, maybe?
Yes, yes, I will paste it.
Yep. Okay, guys. Just a thought from my end. Okay, I think someone just posted a question. Okay, Vedant, looking at current situation of market projects using technology, which approach we should follow? Yeah, okay. So that is a great question, first of all. So as I mentioned in the webinar as well, choosing the right approach for your project, there are n number of factors that you should consider for. First one is of course your project complexity. If you think like, okay, my project does not include that much of complex workflow, it simple has some uh, data entry type kind of forms, and it is just displaying the data based on what I entered. If that is the case, you can directly go for the codeless. Of course, there are other factors as well, as I mentioned, your team expertise, where the QA team has programming language knowledge or not. If they are not that much confident, then I suggest go for the codeless one. Okay. So I hope that covers your query. Okay. Okay. Anyone having any other question? Actually, there is one thing which is not planned actually in the demo. Sorry, in the session, but I think this will be helpful if I just showcase you one quick demonstration of how codeless tool looks like, because we all have seen scripted tools somewhere, whether it is Selenium, APF, or any other tool, right? But as codeless tools are recently added to the market, so just thinking of showcasing you all how the codeless automation tool looks like. It is just an example that I'm showcasing you. Okay, so let me just quickly share my whole screen. Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So this is one of the codeless automation tool, that is bug that we have used in one of our project. Okay, so as you can see, these are all my test cases, or I would say steps, and it was recorded using record and play feature. Now from here onwards, if I want to check this particular entire flow, I just need to simply run it, and it will get executed without without the need of any further modification. But if we consider the same example with the scripted one, and if any changes happen in the code level, then I'll have to make changes in my script as well. But as you can see, as these are same simple plain English language, so I can modify it without getting confused, like where to modify the code or my script exactly. Okay, and just to give you a quick demonstration of it. Okay, so this is the execution part of this particular bug tool, and we are executing it against the Epico project. So it is our own internal platform that we use to track the project updates, or progress, to manage the resources and many other stuff that we can do using the Epico. Now it is getting executed automatically. And as you can see, there is this particular window which says, please wait, waiting for element is present in the document, timeout in 2 seconds. So this is basically, I was talking about the AI capabilities of this tool, bug. Of course, there are other tools as well, which comes with this particular AI capability. Okay. So it is, self declaring the wait here on the scripted. If you know, you have to mention this wait, right? So it is actually self waiting there in order to see the element which is present or not, and it is getting executed there onwards. So these kind of stuff I was talking about, the repetitive work where you have to again and again test the same flow, that's where Codeless will play a big role, and it will definitely save a lot of your testing time. It is basically executing each module. Okay, so this is all about a quick demonstration of this one of the Codeless automation tool. Any other question or anything, guys? Okay, last but not the least, we do have a couple of job openings at Mindbowser. So if you are really interested, I suggest to check out the careers page of Mindbowser. Uh, See your relevant opening and just simply click on the apply button. Okay.
Also, feel free to ask questions on the LinkedIn that he has, and that would also work for the questions. Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining.
Yes. Thank you all for your time. Bye.